we're live now. Okay, it just clicked over.
Oh, I see it.
You see it now?
Nice.
There's always like a 10-second delay. You can thank ChatGPT for that. Dude, saves so much time. Oh my God.
I love and hate chat.
I know. But
love and hate it.
As 50 says, love them or hate them, the underdog's on top. You know, so.
You know, we were 20 seconds into our show and YouTube's already putting in advertisement in the middle of our.
There's no way.
20 seconds in. It's crazy.
What advertisement? A 50 Cent album advertisement?
No. It's on White Family standing there. I don't even know what's going on. It's very white. Hey. It's very white commercial. It's very white. No color.
Could be worse. Hey, Dennis. Yes. I was on Nephilim Death Squad.
I didn't watch it yet. I'm really wanting to
I don't
watch
think
it.
It's out. I don't think it's out.
Oh yeah, I don't think they put it out. That's right.
It's on their like Patreon or something, right?
That's why I didn't watch it.
But bro, their intro is incredible. They have an animated video. They have custom music.
Were you in that video?
So epic.
Did they animate you?
No.
Oh, so it's not like animation per like guest or something. It's just their own.
That'd be insane.
That'd be so cool.
Animated intro video, you know. But here's what I'm saying: we got to step it up because I realize why we've been slacking. You know, in the
you realize why we've been slacking, or we've been slacking?
No, I realize why we've been slacking. And the whole time the intro was playing, I don't know if it was recording me or not, but the whole time I was like this. I'm not even kidding. I was just like mouth dropped at how good the freaking intro was. So whatever they're doing, I'm going to hire everybody that they've got to make us something like that too. But here we are, bro.
Yeah, man. Another Tuesday night hang. Sorry. I'm so tired. I had a very long day, bro. I've got stories, Ben. I got stories. Welcome to Tuesday night hang with Ben and Dennis. Someone actually said when I was introducing myself, and I introduced myself as Chaplain Dennis the Menace. And then someone says, Bennis the Menace? And I said, yeah, I swear, out of nowhere. And I'm just like, what's that?
Was it a fan of ours?
No.
On their deathbed, they're like, Dennis?
And I was trying to explain it to him, like, do you know what a podcast is? He says, no. And but I still explained it to him anyway because he brought up Bennis, so I had to talk about it. Welcome to a Tuesday night hang with Bennis the Menace. Thank you guys. You're already chiming in. There's people already chiming in. This is great. Welcome. Please put your questions in the chat. We're going to talk about some cool stuff tonight. Definitely Epstein files and some crazy stuff that's happening. Remember to like, subscribe, share, do all the good stuff, and help us out and support us however you can, however the Lord leads you. And we'd be super grateful.
Well, not only are you going to be able to do whatever the Lord leads you to do, but soon here we're going to have to set up some stuff to where we force people to support us, you know?
Yeah. So we get a lot of slack from other podcasters because we don't make any money. So
yeah.
They're like, why are you guys not making any money? I'm like,
yeah.
And poor Ben's been like trying to like do stuff and set things up, and then I am no help. I'm just like dead weight.
Dude, my wife's been on my case because she's been going over like the credit card bills and stuff, you know.
She's like, you better make some money with this.
Dude, no, I'm dropping probably at least like $500 a month in subscriptions and AIs
to keep
all the stuff, just for like softwares.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so crazy. My wife's like, what's this? I'm like, AI. She's like, what's this for recording? What's this for the pod? I'm like, she might have a freaking point. You know what I mean? But
yeah, but time and money and whatever. But
time is a different question.
Yeah, time is another one too, for sure. But thank you guys for hanging out. If you guys have anything on your mind, chime in. This is the time where you get to chime in and we get to talk. And You can push back on things, of course, always here on Menace to Menace. If you don't agree, please say. And I'll try to do my best to be on the chat. Lynette's not helping us out tonight. I don't think can't really help us on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, Tuesdays.
But she's been so gracious to help us on Thursdays. So I think Ben's audio is coming from his computer or mic something, not that main microphone.
No.
It sounds echoed and low.
No.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Dennis, do a song and dance while I try to figure this out.
I need a song. So we can have a dance.
Okay, boom, fixed.
Oh, now it sounds smooth.
Dennis, where have you been this whole time?
Bro,
We're 5 minutes in.
I just, I'm just so content with everything. So I'm just like, hey, I hear him. It's fine. It sounded okay to me, but now it sounds even better. Now he sounds.
This is my life, guys.
Like smooth jazz.
Yeah, I actually put on the Barry Manilow.
Thank you. Oh, the button.
I hit the Barry button. Oh, dude, it actually sounds better in my headphones too. Where was I this past 5-6 minutes? Okay, but now that you guys can actually hear me well enough, hopefully you don't get too upset with what I'm about to say next, guys. We have a disclaimer. I think. Oh, yes. Well, it's not what you're.
Not the regular disclaimer.
No. Oh. I should say I have my own personal disclaimer.
Oh,
these are my views only. Maybe not even Dennis's.
We're gonna get weird tonight, guys.
I feel like we're taking a turn, and I hope it's for the best with Dennis. You know why? Because on Nephilim Death Squad, I went pretty hard.
Oh,
and we hit on some stuff that I feel like when we release that episode on our channel in a week or two, when they send it over to me, I'm afraid that some of our friends are going to be a little upset at some of the stuff I was talking about. Really? But it is what it is. It's where we're at. And if people want to chat about it, we're all ears, because if you guys have been with us, if you guys know anything about us, we put stuff out there and we let our friends chime in and talk to us and let us know what they think and try to help us out. And I'm not fixed in my opinions. My opinions change all the time. You know what I mean? And yours do too. And that's why we have people on from like various perspectives, because we're literally like, or at least personally, I'm always trying to learn,
Right.
But here's the big one for me. I'm starting to see, and this will tie into the Epstein stuff, so we'll get there. I'm starting to see, and I'm not trying to be an ass or like mean or unkind or whatever however you want to say it, because like we genuinely have friends on this side of the aisle who I love and are like amazing people, right? I just disagree with them, but it's a really big disagreement now. I'm starting to see like dispensationalism as part of the Great Deception. You know what I mean? Okay. Whereas certain people we've been talking to, and even myself, up until 6 months ago, would have said aliens and what's coming on the horizon is the coming Great Deception.
Right. That's what I was. Yeah, that's where I was for a long time too.
Bro, I'm now of the opinion that it's only part of the coming Great Deception, And I think I've come to this conclusion, even though it sounds crazy, it actually makes a lot of sense. That without dispensationalism, the end times wouldn't be playing out if we are in the end time. Or our present wouldn't be playing out the way it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People, yeah.
And I know that it's going to upset people, but I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not throwing shade at anybody in particular. Like, hey, guys, it's been a group effort.
Oh yeah, you were there. I was there 10 years
ago. We're
all
all to blame.
Yeah,
we're all to blame. Sure. I've been this for the past freaking 38 years of my life. It's only been the past year and a half that I've even started like questioning stuff and really analyzing and having an open an open mind and like open heart, rather than being defensive. And that's what it's been for me. You know, I've always been defensive on these topics, on like the dispensational talking points. I've always jumped to defend the position I hold. And once I actually spent time hearing people out, like Cameron, who I've talked to a ton about this, and actually hearing his position, first and foremost, I would push back, be like, yeah, but what about this? And there's no way, you know, I still don't agree with everything.
Yeah, you pushed back a lot, you know, early on too. I remember.
And the thing is, the more I sat with it and the more I would start reading the passages that I was using on for my opinions, you know, for my position, the standard vanilla dispensational position, the more I started reading those over and over again. And then in the back of my mind, I would just be like, yeah, but the other guys have a pretty good point here too, because of this. And more and more and more, that little voice started coming to like the forefront of my mind, and being like, actually, that makes a lot more sense, because on the dispy side, there's this, and this that never really sat well with me. And actually, this other position fills that void pretty well and makes more sense than what I believed before. So personally, I'm just going with whatever like makes most sense at the moment, you know? You could think that people are like, dude, my favorite, man, oh my God, comments where it's like, you should pray for discernment so that the Holy Spirit leads you and you don't lean on your own understanding. And I'm like, why don't you do that?
Those are the best. Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Like, hey,
and I'm coming to a different conclusion. I'm coming to a different conclusion than you. So why don't I just say those exact same words to you? Like, it's so silly to think that if we pray for the Holy Spirit to lead us, we're all going to have the same theology. You see what I'm saying? We're going to have the same doctrine.
Right.
As if that's ever happened in human history.
Never since the beginning of the church. Never.
And what? Nobody's ever prayed for discernment? Like,
right. I mean, listen, even when Jesus was talking to his disciples, they didn't even understand things that he was saying, you know, about the end times, you know. I mean, they probably never understood until they even passed away. Like, they probably never understood in their life, like, well, how it was going to be. I think that they thought that he was coming like pretty soon, like within their, They
absolutely did. They absolutely did. Paul thought Christ was coming back in his lifetime. The Thessalonians thought that he was coming back in their lifetime. Paul wrote 2 letters to him saying, like, bro, there's other things that need to happen, you know, so we need to keep waiting. We need to keep our eyes peeled. But those things were not revealed, like end time stuff, dates. Oh my God. I can't even tell you the comments we've been getting. Like, dates are not set.
Based on the show though, really quick, is it you push back during the show? You were pushing back on what they were saying, or how did you, were you just pushing back on the belief stuff?
First off, did you know I could see the comments? Can you see the comments here in StreamYard?
Yeah. Someone, that's why I wanted to stop you. And then to say that someone came in from the NDS episode. That's awesome, man. That is so cool. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for,
please chime in.
Thank you for not hating me. Well, NDS fans, I feel like they go hard, you know?
Okay.
So I felt free to speak my mind on, and they're cool. They're really cool guys. P.S. I've also talked to Tim Alberino in the meantime. We'll get there.
Oh, very nice.
But I kind of laid out my theory that we chatted about after the episode with Mondo. Dennis and I stayed on for another 40 minutes and talked.
At least, yeah.
And bro, they were in. Like the boys from NDS, they were in because it makes sense. Okay. And here's where it kind of all, here's the glue for what we were talking about, Dennis. If pre-trib rapture isn't a biblical, I don't know, truth.
Yeah, like a real event that's going to happen.
If it's not a real event, okay. But a rapture-like event does happen, you know. What do we, me and you and others who don't believe in a pre-trib rapture, how do we take that? You know, what does that do to us? What does that do to our faith? Are we left? If we're left behind, if Christians are left behind from this event, what does that do to them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like genuine believers who are like, what the heck? Why'd that guy go and I'm here? I
Yeah.
don't know what that would do to like a Christian's spiritual state, you know? But because we're in this like niche of fringe topics like aliens and Nephilim and all that stuff, right? We know people who say they are Christian and that while Christian, they were abducted by freaking aliens, you know?
Yeah.
So somehow you're not off the table from experiencing alien abduction just because you're Christian. Maybe there's limitations to it. You know, maybe they can't do everything they could do to somebody who's not Christian. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Karen Wilkerson, was she a Christian at the time?
She said that she still had those experiences after she was a Christian. You know, so I think she had it before.
Abduction experiences or just visitations, or do you remember?
That's a good question. We should look that up again in the episode. But do you remember Joe Jordanson, I believe his name was? Bald guy, big beard. He also talked about alien abduction. He's the one that said or has done the research showing that alien abduction stop in the name of Jesus, you know? But
yeah, that's what I remember hearing.
That's what he was saying. But there's plenty of people that said that that's not true. You know, that there's plenty of examples that show that just calling on the name of Jesus doesn't necessarily do anything.
Right. Okay, but let's say
there's got to be something there, bro. There's got to be a reason that works for some people and doesn't work for others.
Okay, but even if, let's say they could abduct Christians, where would they abduct them to? Like as far as a rapture event.
Oh, snap.
Like, I don't think that they would like abduct them to like another planet or like a different place in the world and like hold them on an island somewhere, you know? I mean,
Jeffrey's waiting.
Right. I mean, that's so out, you know, from any part of like the Bible at all, at least as far as what we can tell what's going to happen, or what could happen in case of a rapture event. Like even Disney's, I can see the abduction happening, but not for Christians, put it that way.
Well, do you think that
a mass abduction?
Do you think Christians can be demon possessed?
Oppressed and demonized.
I mean,
not possessed. I think there's differences.
Okay.
I think there's 3 differences when it comes to
so
possession,
demons...
no, but oppression and demonization, yes.
Okay, so can demons screw with Christians?
For sure.
And Christians be like unable to stop it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it happens all the time. I think it's just to the point of being abducted, though.
So hold on. They could screw with you like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but they just can't. They just can't like play with you physically. That's where it stops.
I think so. I don't.
They came down and banged women in freaking Genesis 6. What are you talking about?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
To take a body, to take a person, and do what with them?
Hold on. I don't know. We'll get there, but hold on. Hey,
this is wild.
It's not that wild. Hey,
I like it.
Are they able to take bodies? Period.
Are they able to take bodies?
Are they able to take human bodies, cow bodies, whatever bodies you want? Physical matter. Are they able to take it?
Yeah, they're able to
inhabit.
Yes.
So that is clearly probably some kind of technology. We are not
Christian though.
Oh, so there's a technology that doesn't work on Christians?
No, I'm saying, and you'll, they can't inhabit.
I didn't say inhabit. I said take. I said take bodies. That's what I mean by abduction, right? Okay, this person is here, beep, 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 and they're taken, and then they appear over here. Boop, 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 boop. Are they able to do that?
I just don't think it's Christians that can do that.
but there are Christians who have experienced this.
I don't know. I'm not convinced yet on that.
I mean,
I'm convinced that it happens.
Let them know that it didn't happen to them.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be mean or disregard them. I'm just trying to say that from what I've seen and heard, I think that what I remember is that they weren't Christian at the time the abduction happened. But
okay, we'll look into it more.
Christian later, yeah.
We'll look into it more.
Yeah, chat. What do you guys think? Can a Christian be abducted by an alien?
So well, we'll get there too. Hey, my opinion is that based on like the evidence we've seen and the experiences people talk about, okay, if a demon can maybe not possess a Christian, but they can oppress, they can demonize, they can screw with, okay? If they can do those things, there's no reason to think that they can't physically affect a Christian as well, okay? So I don't think that we're immune from the abduction technology that's being used to take people physically or cows physically. I don't think we're immune from that technology, right? So the demonization and oppression, that's a spiritual thing that they're doing. They're playing in the spiritual realm, whatever dimension that is that we're a part of. But the physical thing, abduction, I think is a spiritual. I think is like a technological achievement that they've arrived at, you know? So I don't think that we're immune from their technological shenanigans. Where do they take us, or where would they take us? Bro, I have no idea. Wherever their freaking ships are. Where are their ships at the moment? I don't know. But what leads us to believe that they can't just take us there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess if you're talking about
why can't we be put in like a stasis of a sleep stasis, or why can't we just be knocked out? Or what about all the people that have been abducted and talk about lost time? People think that they're only gone for minutes, but there's search parties that have been like, you've been gone for 5 days. How are you over here all of a sudden when we've been searching over there where you were missing from? You know what I'm saying? So there's an element of lost time with these events, right? So if there's a pre-trib alien rapture for 7 years, it could feel like you've been gone a month. You know what I'm saying? Or it could just be you've been in some kind of stasis where you just wake up, you're like, what the heck? Where am I? You know? And it's already been 7 years. I don't know. Hey, anyway.
What if they bring the abductees, Christian abductees?
Why'd your mic cut out?
Hello?
I got you back.
All right. I didn't do anything. What if it's the devil, it's the enemy, because we're onto him.
We got you.
What if the abductees, the Christian abductees, all go back they're all taken to like past the ice wall to like this beautiful land where there's like a big golden cube, and they believe they trick them into believing that they're in the new heaven, new earth.
Oh my God. I don't all I'm saying is that Satan's agenda is to deceive Christians. Right. Everybody else is already boned. They don't need to be deceived. They're already deceived. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if there is a mass deception or a great deception that unfolds in the last days, wouldn't that be geared towards Christians? Why does he got to deceive the deceived even more? He doesn't.
Yeah.
That's silly.
I'm totally on board.
They're literally probably already possessed.
Yeah.
Right? Like get this idea of neutrality out of your mind. Nobody is spiritually neutral.
Yeah, you're right.
Nobody wakes up in the morning and is like, Satan today. Or Jesus today. Well, we wake up and say Jesus today, right? Because we are his.
You're either in darkness or in light.
That's it. The language the Bible uses is slavery. You're either enslaved to righteousness or you're enslaved to sin and the devil. There is no freaking middle ground. That's why you have to be saved. You have to be freed because you already belong to your master. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's freaking free. So, all that to say that I don't think he needs to continuously deceive his own property, his own slaves. They're already his.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He needs to deceive us and try to get our allegiance and try to get us away from Christ and back over to his side, right? Because guess what? Hey, technically, Jesus actually took us from him. You know what I'm saying? We, the Gentiles, were not part of God's inheritance until the cross, when he took us from Satan and created a way for us to be saved. But anywho, all that to say to my friends who are dispensational, it's fine. We still love you guys, still want to have these conversations. I'm just saying I might have autism. Because when I get an idea in my head, I freaking like run with it, you know, and I take it to its logical end, in my opinion. So this was just a speculation, because I don't personally believe a pre-trib rapture is biblical anymore. I used to, but I don't believe that anymore, you know?
But you're not just leaving it there. You're saying that it affects so much more than just, I just don't believe that there's rapture, right? Because that's what most people do.
Okay, sure. But bro, before, when I did believe in a pre-trib rapture, I would look at the alien stuff that's going on that we're talking about, okay, and be like, aha, if aliens appear and they have the technology and ability to abduct, that's of course that's going to be the excuse that the government and the one world order and the Antichrist uses as to why there was a mass rapture event is because the aliens did it.
Yeah, that's what
they raptured only Christians. You know, that's who they raptured, or that's who the aliens abducted. But if you take out the pre-trib rapture, okay, and there's still aliens and they're still actually abducting people, you're like, hold on a second. So they have that ability, they have that technology, and the majority of evangelical Christians in America are calling for and expecting some kind of disappearance event. If Satan's trying to deceive Christians, it might be a really good idea if he gives them a little bit of what they're asking for. You know what I'm saying? That might be a really, really good strategy. So playing that out logically, I was like, bro, if he does that, oh my God, we're screwed. Oh my God, we're so screwed, you know? But how does this tie into Jeffrey Epstein? Because that was going to be the topic.
We always do that. We're like, what are we talking about tonight? And then we go.
Well, I just wanted to give my friends a heads up. You know what I mean? Because, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I think that the dispensational stuff is going to be to our detriment. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to, bro, in a way, I kind of want to like call it out as much as possible, you know? And it's one thing to have a disagreement about like these theological, biblical topics, right? But it's a whole other thing when your side is the one causing these things to happen, like causing those prophecies to come about and self-fulfilling them, and even supporting countries politically through your vote, through your money, because you believe that country will produce the Antichrist.
Well, yeah, and you're supporting them you're supporting, genocide, dude. Like you're supporting
all of it.
removal of people like in their homes, from their homes. It's crazy. I mean, you're not just supporting this idea, but it's actual physical events that are happening.
Of course.
And people are dying and losing their lives. And so it's more than just, this idea of this hope that you were supporting.
Yeah. And the reason that support exists from this, from like the evangelical Christian community, is because of dispensationalism. There's no way around that. There are no Christians who are not dispensational. They might play like semantic games and word games and say, I'm not dispensational, but I believe everything dispensationalist, right? Like
most dispensationals don't even know that they're dispensational.
That's also true. That's also very true. But there are not Christians who are outside of dispensationalism who are like supporting Israel with this fervor, because it's dispensationalism that leads to that support. But what else it does, what else it causes you to do by supporting this state, right? The state of Israel, is that in a funny way, you're also supporting Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, as you were
okay, because that's the connection, right? That's the weave, because he was not an independent actor,
right?
He was not working on his own. He was not just some monster that one day woke up and thought to himself,
"I got a great idea,
children, and let me go raise billions of dollars on my own." No. All of this stuff was given to him. He was approached. He was groomed for this position, and he worked. It's basically like undeniable at this point that he worked for the government of Israel. So as Christians, how could we support a country or a government? Let's not say the country, let's not say the people in that country, because they might not be responsible, right? But how can we support a government of a country who unleashed a monster like Epstein? I doubt he's the only one. You think they put all their eggs in his basket?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Hell no.
For sure, he's not the only one. He's just the only one that got caught.
He's the only one that got caught. That's right. And guess what? He's been doing this for 50 freaking years, bro.
Yeah.
For 50 years. Okay. So should we continue to bless Israel as Christians, whatever the heck that means? Because everybody takes that to mean something else. You know what I mean? For some people, it's we should pray for them to be saved. Cool.
Yeah.
Totally agreed. Just like everybody freaking else, right? Just like all the Muslims, just like all the freaking Chinese, Russians, doesn't matter. We should pray for everybody to be saved. But other people take bless Israel to mean vote for the party that will support them in all of their political aspirations,
Yeah.
Specific
candidates. Yeah.
Other people will donate money to their causes, like the Temple Institute, which is building the third temple, a pagan center of worship, out of which the freaking Antichrist comes one day and is like, I am God. Really weird thing for Christians to be donating to, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And then there's Christians that are freaking signing bombs that are going to be dropped on like Gaza and the enemies of Israel, like with a smile on their face. Dude,
well, another thing,
so wild.
But another thing that it does, the support, is that it turns the blind eye to everything that's going on.
Exactly.
And to, everything that's been going on, and to that was caught and disclosed, but also with what's happening in the world as we speak. Because when you look at even what Trump's doing with Palantir, right? Like, and all these things, just this control and all this, and the AI that's coming out, like, we need to be more mindful of these things, like what's really happening in the world through technology. And
bro, are you getting abducted?
What do you mean?
Your audio is like.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I know. I'm just talking.
Is my audio good?
Your audio's perfect.
Dude, weird.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you should start praying to stop the abduction event. I heard that works sometimes. But dude, that's for me. So over the past few days, like being online and being engaged with this stuff, obviously, the stuff in the emails about what Epstein and his buddies are all doing, right? This wasn't like two guys that he would do this with. It was literally like scientists, Harvard elites, politicians, pharmaceutical elites, like entertainers, all sorts of freaking across the spectrum, like in every aspect of culture and society. He had people that he was blackmailing and that he was corrupting. Oh, your audio is good now. You know, he was corrupting these people to have material on them, not because he just wanted like a huge collection of dudes he owns, right? But because that was what his masters back in Israel required of him. That this was his job for Israel, was to gather this information and have this sort of power over all of these people. You know what I'm saying? So when we're looking at the files and we're talking about it online and like, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. And I can't believe this other guy joined him. And this name is on there. And this name is on there. And this name is on there. Cool. And none of those names would be on there if Israel didn't hire Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I mean? So the buck stops with Israel. Epstein was a tool. He was an agent, an operative that they unleashed. So anybody that doesn't point blame at his boss, you know, at his handlers, why? Why not? Why not? That's the reality of this situation. They're as much to blame, if not more so to blame, than he is for everything he did.
And we never hear. I don't think I've heard anyone ask that question or talk about this yet.
I've heard people talk about it, but they're not Christians, which is what I'm taught. My focus here is with Christians because that's what I am. That's what you are. You know, if you're not Christian, I couldn't care less what you're talking about. But as Christians, we need to call out like evil and sin. That's literally, we are the salt of the earth. We are the beacons of light and truth to the masses, right? So when we, because of our dispensationalism and support for Israel, stop short of calling out Israel for unleashing Epstein on the world for the past 50 years, okay? We are not a beacon of light and a beacon of truth to the world, right? Yeah. What are we doing? We're actually kind of covering things up. Yeah. We're actually trying to sweep something under the rug, a truth that is that goes against our, I don't know what you want to call it, our misconception about chosen people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if this applies to us. I was reading Ezekiel, and God specifically tells him, if you don't say this to the people, like you are responsible for their sin. And if you do say it, then they're responsible for their own sin. And I think it was a few other times too that he mentioned that. So I don't know if that applies to us in that, but I think it could. I remember once I was supposed to say, well, I didn't want to say something happened like within the church, and I didn't want to say anything. Didn't want to get in the drama, just like keep to myself. And I remember speaking to somebody, they knew about it too. And they're like, dude, we need to say something. Like, we need to say something. Like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say everything's so good right now. It's so peaceful. And I'm just sick of church drama. And I was reading my Bible, and it was like on a Saturday morning, and I remember coming across these verses, and it was like very, very specific. Like, you need to say these things. I'm like, okay, I'll say it. Yeah. And it was like the best thing ever. Like, the approach and everything was so great. But I think, like us, you're right. The Dispies, that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier. They will not expose what needs to be exposed, right? Right. They will, and they become complicit almost, because they're ignoring it. They're willingly ignoring or, I don't know what it is. Because I talk to people all the time about the same thing, and they'll shut me down so fast, so quickly. If I bring this topic up, they don't even want to talk about it. They're like, you're
Right.
totally wrong. You have no idea. Like, yeah, but look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing.
Dennis, this is the clearest moment in time for us to be able to call this out. Right?
Yeah.
Bro, if the genocide in Palestine didn't do it for people, right? For dispeace, if they can still protect Israel through that, how about the Epstein files?
Yeah.
How about that? How are you going to justify or excuse Epstein's bosses? How are you as a Christian?
I think they stopped
ignore that.
They stopped.
Here's the thing. Hey, with the genocide with Palestine, you can make the argument. God promised them that land, so they have the right to take it, right? By evil means, right? Satanic means, they have the right. But what about Epstein? Did God promise them some kind of, I don't know, some kind of weird reward if they eat children, or if they blackmail politicians and like elites from all over the world? What's the promise there from God?
They're not tying it to Israel. That's the thing. It's stopping. For most people, it stops at Epstein.
Okay.
For most people,
do you think they don't know that he was an Israeli operative?
I don't think that people can really. I'll just speak for myself. When this whole Epstein thing came out, I didn't really think much about his handlers, right? His bosses. I didn't think about that very much. I thought, dude, this is sick. This is disgusting. This is the worst thing ever to be disclosed. Yeah. And all these people involved, and it runs into the politics and into financial systems and technology and Hollywood and sports and whatever. And so I only focused on that, like on the muck of it all.
Right.
And I never looked into it more recently, though. And I think you're right. It's this unmasking of the Dispy kind of thinking, right? Where I started to now say, okay, well, who else is involved here? What else is happening here with Epstein? And I like that you said it. You're just like, well, how come no one's talking about his bosses, the people who put him in this place?
Right.
I think it should be talked about more. But I think that the fear is, I think where you were alluding to is people know where it is and they don't want to talk about it because they know who his handlers are and they don't want to talk about it.
Of course, because it contradicts their doctrine.
The doctrine, right?
It contradicts dispensationalism.
Oh, man,
when you're faced with, it's one thing when you're like, they have their own religion and leave them alone. We know they don't worship Jesus right now, but one day he's going to save all of them, like the Bible says. And it's okay that they have weird outfits and curly sideburns and they wave chickens around their head in Brooklyn and then do a slaughter fest. That's okay. It's just their culture, whatever. It's a different thing. When you have to admit to yourself that they are actually perfectly fine with letting this dude
traffic children,
rap them, but with an E, sacrifice them, cannibalize. I mean, there's so many things in there. We don't even actually know what's like real and what's fake, but we have no idea the level of evil that this government, like the Israeli government, was totally fine with, as long as they could just get like another hold on somebody else, and they found a dude that was like willing to do it and willing to live the lifestyle. Because listen, he lived an insane lifestyle. He lived the life of a freaking billionaire playboy. No wife, no kids, no responsibilities. This is all he did and thought about all freaking day long.
Oh yeah.
Think about how like depraved and evil you have to be. Okay.
Wake up,
To wake up,
yeah, every
sleep,
day.
eat,
Yeah.
dream. This is all you do. You're a monster. You're literally a demon. You are a physical, he was possessed, no doubt about it. There's no way not to be possessed and be this wicked, you know?
Yeah.
But all that was employed by the Israeli government, you know? And to stop short, to not blame his bosses,
Guys,
to me,
Ben is not suicidal.
oh yeah,
I am not
shoot.
suicidal.
Where's my yarmulke, man?
Sorry,
I haven't been able to find it. I'm just saying, to not put blame on where, you know, up the ladder is crazy to me. Is absolutely crazy to me. And to me, it makes me feel like people are being dishonest, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what it feels like to me.
To be honest, now that I'm thinking about this more and more, it's like that's the only thing I'm thinking about now when it comes to this Epstein thing. It's like, hey, let's talk about who put him there. Because that is the real discussion, right? So Lynette chimed in. Thanks, Lynette, for being here. She said, I must be an anomaly as a dispy because I'm all for laying blame wherever proof guides us. And I believe Mondo said the same, which I do agree. He did say it. And then she wrote, but you are missing who the real handler is. It's Satan. And as much as of course, the handler is Satan, but you see what it does? We just skip the people in the middle.
Now we spiritualize it. Now we spiritualize it. And hey, I agree, right?
It is, of course.
He's obviously the author of sin. He's obviously the one behind it in a spiritual sense. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But the physical earthly mechanism which Satan is using to perpetrate this evil is Israel.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way around that. There's just no way around that. And Lynette, I do think Lynette's an anomaly. No. I got it. Word of the day is anomaly. Amamaliga. Hey, and I'm online. Like I'm chatting with people all the freaking time. You know what I mean? Comments on the videos, X, Instagrams, all of it, right? I'm telling you right now, you're an anomaly, you know? And it's because this is cognitive dissonance. It's where your brain can't accept the reality presented, you know? And so what you do is deny, say there's no way, there's got to be something else going on. It can't really be this. But in fact, it is this. Like it really is. It's this simple. There's a country that unleashed this guy for blackmail so that whenever this country needed anything from those people, they could just say, hey, we're going to blackmail you. Do what we want, you know? Yeah. So, and you look at, dude, again.
So now that's his mic. Are you trying to be like me now?
Dude, there's a button here, and if you push it, this thing comes out. I never knew that.
Nice. Hey, really quick, as you stopped there, but Lynette said something which I'm curious your thoughts on this. She says, not the entire nation of Israel, but definitely some of the leaders in the government.
I said that, Lynette, I don't know if you were here before. I said that. I said, hey, maybe I shouldn't say Israel, but rather like the government of Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because again,
I think it's more than just some people in the government of Israel. I think it's like the whole government. And now I know that there's people that are trying to get Netanyahu out, and which is great. But I don't think it's just Netanyahu, right? I think there's got to be more people involved, and maybe it's even people outside of Israel that are like totally involved in this.
Who are also interested in the operation being a success, or people or people involved in it, like they're with him and what he's doing.
Yeah, they're with him because look, if Trump became a Jew, right? Converted, which I don't know if it's true, but that's what I hear, and that's what I saw some things online. I mean, I saw quite a bit online on that. I mean, is he now in the synagogue of Satan?
Pull up two passages. Pull up the synagogue of Satan passage, and also pull up the "you are of your father the devil" passage. And I'm, again, not saying all Jews. I don't even think I used the word Jew this whole freaking time, right? I've said the state of Israel, the government of Israel, that is what I'm talking about. I'm directing all of this animus towards the leadership of that country, right? In the same way, we directed a lot of our animosity towards the leadership under Biden. It doesn't mean that I hate Americans, right? The same way we can hate or direct our anger towards Zelensky doesn't mean I hate all Ukrainians. Like, grow up, right?
For sure.
But oh, dude, speaking of Zelensky, you know what's interesting? You know who's not on Epstein's list and nowhere in the freaking files?
Putin?
No Putin, no Xi, no Russians, no Chinese, no.
That is interesting.
Our greatest enemies. Our greatest enemies, guys. The ones we really need to hate and worry about. You know who's not on there? Bro, I don't even think there's any freaking Muslims on there. Our other greatest enemies. All the people we're called to fear and hate, okay, as Americans, but when it comes to Muslims, we're called to fear and oppose them as Christians, which I understand, but I think it's a, what's it called? Double standard. None of them are involved in this. Okay? It's literally all Western, and by Western I mean American and European leadership, and a whole lot of Israeli people, you know? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. Why aren't our enemies involved in this? But our allies are. Our allies and our leadership and our presidents and our prime ministers and they're the ones banging kids and eating flesh.
Yeah.
But our greatest enemies, right, that we go to war with and spend trillions of dollars against, nowhere to be found in any of this. Really weird. Really, really weird. Because I'd expect our enemies to be on that list, you know? But it seems like they're actually not compromised.
That's a good point.
By Israel. That's weird. Did you pull up those passages?
Yeah. There's 2 in Revelation where these talks about synagogue.
Your mic went out. Dude, the second we touch these things, they're gone.
But that's never happened before.
I know. It's weird.
I'm telling you, man, this is one of those nights where we didn't even do anything different. Is it gone completely?
It's no, you're good. You're good. You're back.
Okay. Revelation 2:9. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the slander of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan.
Yeah.
Book of Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are Jews and are not.
So that's John 8:44.
Yeah, you are of the father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires.
Find the context of that, like who he's talking to and stuff.
Jesus is speaking during a dispute with certain religious leaders. This statement is moral and spiritual accusation, not a biological claim.
Well, obviously they're not biologically related to Satan. Go up to verse like 38 or something like that. But hey, the interesting thing there in the Revelation passages is that he says they claim to be Jews and are not. They are a synagogue of Satan. Okay, first off, this isn't talking about a random dude that comes up and is like, Shabbat Shalom, brethren, you know, but he's like uncircumcised and I don't know, Romanian. That's not what they're talking about. Because guess what? He says that they're a synagogue of Satan. So this is an enterprise. This is a group of people. This is like a system, a religion, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
They have power, right? You don't have a synagogue unless you've got some authority. So I would equate that especially when you see the evil satanic crap that Epstein and the government of Israel have been doing, I would put that as satanic, right? And you know what they're using to justify this kind of stuff? Their Talmudic Judaism.
Yeah.
We are goyim. We are cattle that needs to be slaughtered and herded. They are Jewish supremacists. They think they're going to rule the world. They think they're better than everybody. They think that we all need to die. We all need to serve them. I wonder how many Jewish girls Epstein raped. I'd be very surprised if there's any on that list. They think their blood is special. It's ironic how like Aryanism was a German thing that led to the Holocaust. And now Epstein was basically a Jewish supremacist, which led him to do the kind of atrocities he did and leads their government to allow somebody like him to exist and do the kinds of things he does. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of a synagogue of Satan, the proof's in the pudding. Whoever's doing satanic stuff falls into that category, in my opinion. You know, like John might have been specifically talking about some people.
Well, let's read it
in that context, right?
Let's read it. Chapter 8, John chapter 8, verse 39. I'll start there. They answered him, Abraham is our father. So he's talking to the Pharisees. They answered him, the Pharisees answered him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. This is not what Abraham did. You are doing the works of your father, or you are doing the works your father did. They said to him, we were not born of sexual immorality. We have one Father, even God. Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I came from God and I am here. I came not on my own accord, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. You are of the father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar, the father of lies. But because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me.
Yeah. So again, you'll know them by their works, right? If they are doing satanic things, they are not of God. They are of their father, the devil. They are of their father, Satan. They have a demonic, satanic synagogue of which they belong, a satanic religion that allows them to do these things because they belong to Satan. We just talked about this 30 freaking minutes ago. Nobody is spiritually neutral. You are either God's child / property, or you are the devil's child, right? Your father, the devil, Satan's child / property. You're enslaved to one of those two masters. That's the language of the Bible. There's no way around that, you know? So to me, my allegiance, my support, my blessing, first and foremost, is always going to be towards my brothers and sisters in Christ. That's who my focus is on. That's who I want to see like flourish. That's who I want to protect. That's why when bombs are dropped on Christians in Gaza, I'm like, ugh, synagogue of Satan. Killing Christians, that's probably satanic. You know what I'm saying? But other people are like, yeah, but we need to support them. We need to bless them. We need to, even though they're killing Christ's brothers, sons of God, we need to support the sons of Satan because I'll bless those who bless you. And you know what I mean? Really, really twisted, bro. Yeah. To the point where it almost seems like a deception. And that's where we started.
Yeah.
You know? So it's, I don't know. It's a very difficult thing for me to like wrestle with and think about. And it's one of those things where once you see it, you can't unsee it, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's really important to call out the fact that a pastor like Jack Hibbs, right, who has a huge following in church and,
Sure.
Social media and all this. And he was involved with, Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. And, for him to bring someone on stage at his church and say things like, if you don't, I don't know exactly, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines like, if you don't support Israel, you have like a problem with like the God of the Bible. Like you don't even know if you're a Christian.
Right. His name is Amir Tsafari or something like that.
Okay. In front of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people have seen this. And how many people agree with that or scare or fall into fear and just have to agree with it because this guy on stage, that Jack Hibbs supports,
right,
is saying this. I mean, that is detrimental. Like that we can't ignore. That is in the church, in the evangelical church, where hundreds of thousands of people are seeing that and listening to this. Okay, maybe more. And we look at that as Christians. We can't just ignore that. We can't ignore that. Like that's within the church body. Like we need to correct that because that's just not true.
Dude, absolutely. And I've got the comments here too. And Lynette says it all depends on what is meant by support, in my opinion. So I support Israel, right? I agree, but we've had this conversation even with Mondo.
Yeah.
And he says, and I agree, support or bless in context of Israel literally just means we pray for them to be saved.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the accurate understanding of what it means to bless Israel or support Israel. That's what I do for for everybody.
But that's not what it means to
That's not what it means.
Yeah, to dispensationalists.
Excluding Lynette and possibly Mondo. Okay, but I'll tell you right now, I've been talking to another guy from Prophecy Watchers on Instagram, Twitter, just back and forth a couple of times, because he posts he said something about like Islam in America,
Mm-hmm.
and that there is a, I'm no fan of Islam. Like I don't even want to freaking hear it. They're as evil and satanic as everybody I just described. He posts something saying, oh, there's a anti-Islamic like group within our government or something. It's something about anti-Islam in the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just simply say, cool. This is a day or two after the Epstein files. I'm like, cool. Now do Talmudic Judaism, right? If you want to keep radical Islam out of our government, and that's a benefit, I agree it is. Now keep Judaism, Talmudic, evil, satanic, synagogue of Satan Judaism out of our government too, right? Yeah. But that's not going to happen. That's never going to freaking happen, bro. And the response was, oh, but they're insignificant. How many Muslims are there in the world? And how many of them are radical and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so hold on. It's just a matter of volume now.
Yeah.
Now it's not a matter of being consistent and that we should keep radicals, right? Out of our government, out of the American government. We should keep these radicals out. Now it's just a matter that there's not as many Talmudic Jews as there are radical Muslims, even though our entire like Congress and House is captured by Talmudic Judaism. Yeah. That's why they wave all the flags. Like our Congress waves flags and posts them on their door and stuff of only one state. And guess what? It's not a Muslim state, Really interesting that hypocrisy. But I don't know, man. I think this is, to me, bro, if Christians don't stand against this stuff like publicly, and I'm talking about not just call out Epstein, I'm talking about call out his bosses, right? Israel. If Christians don't call this stuff out at this point in time, like this evil kind of stuff,
then they're never gonna. Yeah,
we're done.
We're done. Yeah.
We're done, Dennis. We're done. Evangelical Christianity is done. It's cooked. The future generations are gone. Nobody's going to believe in. Nobody's going to like trust.
Huh? It's just down to a remnant.
That's exactly what I think. That's
Mhm.
exactly what I think. I think it's going to, man, so fascinating when you realize that it's all, it's not a battle of flesh and blood. It's a battle of principalities and powers and dominions and thrones and, right? It's a
Yeah.
spiritual warfare. When you acknowledge it's a spiritual warfare and you see how this notion of support for Israel, because they're still God's chosen, is leading to the demise of the Protestant like movement, the evangelical Protestant church, wow, what a strategy of Satan.
Hmm.
What a strategy of Satan. What a evil genius operation, bro. Because the masses are not going to, like, non-Christians. We should be worried about non-Christians and getting them to repent and preaching the gospel. And you also might want to not stand with the people behind Epstein if you're so worried about what people think about like Christianity and Jesus, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you
sure.
might want to reject that and speak out against it publicly in the exact same way you do Islam, because they're both evil. How many times have you heard Jack Hibbs and John Hagee and Amir Safari, whatever, and all of these other evangelical dispensational preachers speak out against Islam?
Mhm.
And how many times have you heard them speak out against Israel or Talmudic Judaism, if you want to just make it a religious thing, right?
Yeah. Well, that's another issue too. I think that people don't know what Talmudic Judaism is and what it consists of. I think it's coming out more and more because of social media. But I mean, even 5 years ago, I didn't know what was in it. I heard about the Talmud, but I didn't know what was in it. I didn't know that Jesus, in their writing, Jesus is boiling in excrement right now as we speak. I didn't know that. Like, so, and that was just 5 years ago. As probably maybe 5 years ago is when I first heard that for the first time in my life. So I think there's an educational issue here too, that we're just not educating the Christians are not being educated. And because again,
you think that's by accident?
Oh, for sure not.
Of course not.
Yeah, of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to the seminaries. We spoke about this on a couple other episodes, like where the training is happening for these evangelical type leaders and churches and denominations. I think like that's where it's all supporting Israel. It's not, I remember my dad, he went to I think it was like Moody Bible Institute out in Chicago. And so when I talked to him about the Talmud, he's like, "Yeah, I've heard of it. I know what it is." I'm like, "Do you know what
Your dad went there?
Mm-hmm. For a little bit. Yeah, I know you did too, right?
Yeah, I have a Bachelor of Science in Biblical Studies from there.
Oh, look at you, man!
Which is like,
it's probably the first time you said that on this whole episode for 3 years.
Oh, cool. Which is like, Moody's one of the biggest DISP institutes.
Yeah,
as is Dallas Seminary.
Right. And then when I found that out, I asked my dad, and he said he knew, but he didn't know what was in it. So that was the extent of like his education in that. And then you never hear about it again. It's never spoken about in evangelical churches. And most of the pushback is always like, well, we're here for, the lost, Well, yeah.
Well, you're shooting yourself in the foot by aligning with like Satanist cannibal pedophiles, Yeah. So I see one of the comments here. Bondi stated, if the government gets all the people in the files, the system will collapse. Good. Yeah. Good. Let it freaking burn.
Yeah.
Burn it to the freaking ground. I don't care. You think I'd rather be living in peace and comfort with my head in the dirt and ignoring child abuse and trafficking?
Well, that's the majority, Ben. You see, that's the problem. That's the problem.
I'm the problem?
You're not the problem.
Oh, okay.
You're this fictitious person that you're speaking of is the problem. It's the oh well, I don't, life is okay, gas is cheap.
Right.
Right.
Like, and the payment for gas is cheap and life is good is
Yeah.
children being sacrificed, children being eaten, children being abused, and being run by satanic pedophiles. That is the cost of your comfort.
Do you think it's that it's just so wild to even imagine that happening, that people are just like,
Oh, for sure.
they don't have the capacity,
For
or
sure.
they're just trying to ignore it because it's
Bro,
too much. They can't think of this.
have you ever spent a lot of time, or have you ever spent any time with like very rich people who never ever in their lives have ever woken up and even contemplated money?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
They do not live in the same world as us.
Yeah, that's true.
Their brains don't operate the same way ours that does. Their feet don't touch the same dirt that ours do. They live in private planes, they live on yachts, they live in mansions in the Alps, in France, in New York, in Chicago, right? On ranches in Idaho. You have no idea the kind of people that we're talking about here. And so it is impossible for a lot of people who have never spent time with folks like this. It's impossible to understand how delusional you can be when you have no problems in your life. You've never had a problem in your life. Money has fixed everything. All you've ever lived for is for entertainment, sex, more money, fun, power, getting one up on the other guy that pissed you off the other week at that billionaires only party. You know what I'm saying? This is it. This is their whole world. And that's why I'm saying a guy like Epstein for 50 years lived in that sphere, right? And on top of just that lifestyle, his mission, courtesy of the government of Israel, was to seduce and get contraband on those people, compromise them. That's it. That's all he did for 50 years, 365 freaking days out of the year. That was it. That's what his mind did, you know? So it's very hard for people to believe the stuff they're reading until you actually know some of these people. Like this category, this caliber, this 0.001% of the population of the planet. And if you actually spent time with these guys, you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see these guys are actually capable of that. That's how insane you are when you get to that level, you know?
Even struggle with all.
Hold on, say that again. Your mic cut out.
I still struggle with, what's the word I'm looking for? The complacency that most Christians have in all of this. Like, I don't know if it's true, but I mean, I did read something about Trump in the Epstein files. I think it was one or two things, maybe one thing. We don't have a lot of details on it, of course, but it was bad enough to say, oh my gosh, he's complicit in this.
Trump?
Yeah. And how come no one's talking about it? Like, do you find it weird that with the way they were released, right? I mean, there's no like media coverage on the release, but it is in social media. It's all over social media. So like, you don't hear, my parents had Fox News on throughout the day. I never heard it once. Not once did they talk about the Epstein files being released and how they're trying to unredact them. I heard Massey, but again, this is all through social media that he looked at all the unredacted, and he's got more to say. And he's
do you remember Marjorie Taylor Greene stepped down as senator over this?
She stepped down over this?
Well, it was related to this. She said that there's no point to be involved in government anymore. Like as a senator, her position is irrelevant because they can't do anything, you know? And of course, Fox News isn't going to freaking cover this stuff at length, because what will that do to the public? Anger them and make them mobilize to do something about it. Right. If you could get off your fat ass and, go hold a sign, I guess, like Antifa or something. But, dude, they're never going to draw attention to this. There is going to be no consequence. Why would the elites who own these companies, these media companies, these social media companies, why would they ever come out and mobilize the minions to come out and do what? Kill them. they'd be throwing themselves into the freaking fire.
For sure.
They're the ones that are trying to protect themselves and their buddies. Of course, they're not going to dwell on this to anger us. This is why you've heard the term, it's all a show, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been saying that for like 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah. But the show is for us.
Yeah.
They are presenting the show. They are presenting the reality that they want us to believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if we knew what's going on behind the screen, right? Behind the curtain, the cannibalism, the child torture, like the Satanism, if we knew that, I think like almost 9 billion people would probably get upset and try to do something about it. But if they can keep us tame with the show, you see what I'm saying? And with the chemtrails and with the chemicals in our food and with all of this stuff, the medications that everybody's on, with the video games, with the matrix of work and debt, and I got to go pay my bills. And if they can keep us distracted on those things rather than focused on what they're doing, they're good to keep playing around in the background. They're good. They got their own game that they're doing. Right. And all we get to see is the show. You know what I'm saying? And Trump, dude, I don't know if any of the stuff in there about Trump is true. It can be. It might not be. I don't know. But if you jump on the Epstein files and you're like, aha, George Bush Sr.'s in there, and Prince Andrew, and Bill Clinton, and the Podestas, and Hillary, and right? And Trump. So you don't have evidence that those people you just listed off and that you talk crap about all day long, not you, but proverbial, you don't have evidence that they actually did any of the things that are being talked about. But they're in there, just like Trump's in there. We don't have evidence that he did those things or that he didn't do those things. But to be consistent, you cannot divide this down party lines.
Right.
This has nothing to do with party lines. If you still think party lines matter, you're watching the show. Yeah, and you love it. You're all in. You got your freaking popcorn and you're like, yeah, get them. We won 4 more years. You know what I mean? And behind the scenes, they're like freaking dummies. All of us, left, right, center, doesn't matter. Black, white, gay, straight. We're all over here eating kids. Like they don't give a crap about party lines. Party lines, left and right, Democrat, liberal, conservative, whatever, the right, the left. All that is a system that they dangle in front of you every 4 years to make you believe like you've got a say in anything. Otherwise, if you realize you had no say and it's all the same thing, and there's no difference between the two parties and they're both going to keep carrying on the singular agenda despite who's in office, got almost 400 million or 350 million Americans that'd be like, hey, we should do something about that. But if they pretend like you get a vote every 4 years and your side wins and then your side wins and then kumbaya, we're just mad at each other. We're just mad at each other while they keep playing their own game in the background. You know what I'm saying? It's genius, bro. It's evil freaking genius to keep us divided and focused on each other and arguing about dumb shit like sexuality or party lines while they're eating kids. Like it's genius. And they're just doing Satan's, like, this is what they were doing in ancient Egypt and in Babylon and even in Israel at times when they were worshiping Moloch and Baal and all the other gods, right? That required the death of innocents. They're doing the same freaking thing. They're doing the exact same freaking thing, except for they got a suit and tie on. And we think we're like living in the modern era, you know? It's incredible.
You're right. It is the same thing. It is. It's all the same thing again.
It's all the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun, man. And last thing on Trump. Okay. I'm hoping the stuff on there about him was fed into those documents to make him seem as if he's at fault for something, right? To get him to catch some accusations or something like that. Okay. But just come out and say that. Come out as Donald Trump. If I was in the Epstein file, right? Ben Trump. If Ben Trump is in the Epstein files, I'd be like, hey, this file right here is fake. Yeah. They added this in to make me seem as if I'm involved with this guy. But here's what I did. I called the cops in 2006 on Jeffrey Epstein. I banned him from my clubs and from my hotels because he tried molesting one of the waitresses. I did this. I did that. I worked with the FBI. I did this. This file is fake. They entered this in to try to, this is a thing that the FBI is doing. They're trying to get me attached. It's like Russiagate. Okay. He could do that. He hasn't done that. Instead, what he's done is he said, it's all a hoax. This is like Russiagate. It's just the Democrats perpetrating another hoax. This is going to be known as the Epstein hoax from now on. You know how he always like tries to make coin terms and brand things his way. This is going to be known as the Epstein hoax. Nobody calls it the Epstein hoax. Fail, right? Because we all know it's real. Right. Whether or not what's in there about you is true or not, we all know the Epstein files are real. And he then says, well, some of my previous supporters, I have the tweet if you want, if we should read it. Some of my previous supporters say that I'm involved or they care about the Epstein file. That's what it was. They care about the Epstein files and they're perpetrating this Democrat hoax and they are weak and I don't want their support anymore. And then in another place, he says anybody that's still cares about the Epstein files is stupid, right? Yeah. So instead of coming out and actually like defending himself and putting out real information out there, all he does is like call us stupid for caring, tells us on the news repeatedly, we should be moving on from this. There's more important things going on. Look at my hotel that I'm building, right? Like all he's been doing is trying to squash this, even though it's the most heinous, evil crap that's ever come out probably in human history about government, you know? So whatever he's doing is not making him look any better, right? And it could be because what's in there about him is true, or it could be because he's trying to, like Bondi said earlier, trying to save the system which holds billions of his dollars.
Right.
You think Trump's going to risk losing his entire fortune and future and his children's future and his grandchildren's future by a collapse of the system?
Yeah.
Of course not.
They won't do it. Yeah.
Of course not.
For sure. There's a couple things in the comments. Shannon, thanks for chiming in. I agree. I've been telling people that nothing will be done about this. The world is a stage.
Nothing.
I totally agree. Lynette said something interesting too, because this is a conversation I kind of had with my parents, because when you said, well, what if Trump just came out and said, well, this is not true? You know, then she said all the files will become suspicious. And that is what's interesting about all this that I caught. My mic went out again?
No.
Okay. It's people that say, well, how do you know it's true? How do you know that's true? How do you know this is true? How do you know that's true? Sure. And I'm just like, wait a second. All right. If that's the case, then we don't know anything that's true anymore, right? That's
we don't.
And we don't. That is the truth. We don't know what's true. So how do we, then what do we do? Do we just turn it all off?
No.
And not watch it? Or what do we do?
No. What we do is call for our legal system to actually function. Go arrest people.
Yeah, but
go bring them in for questioning. Go do investigations.
Right, but they're not going to.
I know they're not going to. I know there's going to be no consequences for anybody. I know. Right. But you said, what should we do? This is what should happen. Okay. Is that our legal system that we all believe in and that we all freaking like rely on. If you don't pay your stupid $300 in taxes at the end of the year, you're going to prison. If these guys publicly are outed as being freaking child trafficking, cannibals, Satanist worshipers, nothing happens. Do you see like the two tiers of justice that we exist under? The justice system is fake. It's not real. All it is a means to like get more money out of us. Even arresting people and putting them in prison, all it serves as, well, of course, you're like punishing people who are criminals often, but it also is a monstrous money-making.
Huge.
Everything's about money. Even our legal system is fake. And we know it's fake because they're not going to do anything to these freaking people, man. They're not going to do anything to them. And if you never face consequences, why would you ever stop doing evil shit?
Yeah.
Why? You won't. Because again, remember, they exist in a whole other reality, right? Then when the plebs, when the normies, when all the ants are upset and like, get them, do investigations, and then nothing happens, would you not then get emboldened to do even worse shit, even more evil? Because nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything. So this was fun. I'm going to step it up. I'm going to go crazier. I'm going to get more wild. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting that they put this out there publicly. This is also a Luciferian doctrine. They have to tell you what they're doing. This is why at the Golden Globes, at the Olympics, you're always going to see satanic shit. Always. Pentagrams at the Olympics. Crazy demonic Satan worshiping like pitchforks and people dressed up like the devil himself on stage, and people are like, yay, art, right? No. They're telling you publicly what they are doing. They are required to by the Luciferian doctrine. I forget what the term is called that they abide by, where they say, hey, we need to tell you what we're doing, and then we're not responsible anymore when you allow us to do those things. Because we've told you we're doing it. You had every opportunity to stop us and every right to stop us, but you did nothing. So we have the right to do this to you. Okay? This is part of Luciferianism. And so they just released 3 million files on all these dudes telling us what they're doing. And if nothing happens, it's on us. And they're going to get even wilder. It's going to be even worse. Just watch. The other 3 million files, right? This was only half. This was only half of the files. We're going to have a total of 6 million files released. Hopefully we get the other half. And I bet you maybe there's going to be one arrest. They're going to find some like low-level guy, some dude that was like the limo driver, you know? And they're going to throw that guy in prison. Your mic's dead. Your mic is still dead. I don't know, bro. Satana. Just, it's dead. You can hear me though? Okay. Hey, while you try to figure that out, I'm gonna play this video. Bro, this hits so different now, man. This is a video from, I believe it's, you know what? 3 years ago. This is a video from 3 years ago. I think this was at the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. Dennis, try saying something again. Let me see if I hear you.
1, 2, test.
Boom, you're back, baby.
Yeah, I had to close Riverside, man. It's killing my computer.
It's too much, huh?
Yeah, it's too much.
Okay, no worries. Hey, so check this out. This was from 3 years ago, I believe around the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, right? Which we all know is BS. We know it's a proxy war. We know it's a proxy war between like America, Europe, and Russia. But it is in Russian, so maybe I'm going to pause it and like read along the way, okay? But check out what freaking Putin says. Russia understands. Can you see, Dennis?
Yeah, I can see.
So Russia understands its responsibility to the world community and will do everything to bring such hotheads to their senses.
Россия понимает свою ответственность перед мировым сообществом и сделает.
I'm gonna put it to, since I'm reading it, I'm gonna make it go faster.
It's pretty big on YouTube. You can kind of see, you can see the words pretty large.
So don't read it?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
No, I am gonna read it because we do audio only.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For some people, playback speed 1.5. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna go 2. This is gonna sound crazy fast Russian.
Все, чтобы привести в чувство такие горячие головы. Очевидно, что нынешняя
It is clear that the current neo-colonial model is ultimately doomed, but I repeat that her real owners will cling to her to the end.
неоколониальная модель в конечном счете обречена. Но повторю, что ее реальные хозяева будут до конца
They simply have nothing to offer the world except for the preservation of the same system of robberies and racketeering. And remember, not a single Russian, not a single Chinese in the Epstein files, right?
Yeah.
Russia's our greatest enemy. We're actively at war with them. Okay.
цепляться за нее. Им просто нечего предложить миру, кроме сохранения все той же системы грабежа и рынка. По сути, они плюют
In fact, they spit on the natural right of billions of people, most of humanity, to freedom and justice,
естественное право миллиардов людей, большей части человечества, на свободу и справедливость. На то, чтобы самим самостоятельно
to determine their own future on their own. Now they have completely moved to a radical denial of moral norms, religion, and family.
определять свое будущее. Сейчас они и вовсе перешли к радикальному отрицанию нравственных норм, религии, семьи. Давайте ответим сами себе.
Let's answer some very simple questions for ourselves. I now want to return to what I said. I want to address all the citizens of the country.
На очень простые вопросы. Я сейчас хочу вернуться к тому, что сказал. Хочу обратиться ко всем гражданам страны, не только к тем коллегам, которые
Not only to those colleagues who are in the hall, to all the citizens of Russia. Do we want to have here in our country, in Russia,
ко всем гражданам России. Разве мы хотим, чтобы у нас здесь, в нашей стране, в России, вместо мамы и папы
instead of mother and father, parent number 1, number 2, number 3, are they completely crazy there?
был родитель номер 1, номер 2, номер 3? Совсем спятили уже. Разве мы хотим, чтобы
Do we really want perversions that lead to degradation and extinction to be imposed on children in our schools?
в наших школах с начальных классов детям навязывали извращения, которые ведут к деградации
From the primary grades to be drummed into them that there are supposedly other genders beside women and men.
и вымирания. Чтобы им вдалбливали, что кроме женщины и мужчин якобы существуют еще некие гендеры. И предлагали
And to be offered a sex change operation. Do we want all this for our country and our own children?
сделать операцию по смене пола. Разве мы все этого хотим для своей страны и для своих детей? Для нас все это
For us, all this is unacceptable. We have a different, our own future.
неприемлемо. У нас другое, свое будущее. Повторю, диктатура западных
I repeat, the dictatorship of the Western elites is directed against all societies, including the peoples of the Western countries themselves.
направлена против всех обществ, в том числе и народов самих западных стран. Это вызов всем.
This is a challenge for everyone. Such a complete denial of man, the overthrow of faith and traditional values, the suppression of
Такое полное отрицание человека, неспровержение веры и традиционных ценностей, подавление свободы приобретает черты
freedom acquires the freedom acquires the features of a reverse religion, outright Satanism.
Dang.
религии, наоборот, откровенного сатанизма. В Нагорной проповеди Иисус Христос
In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus Christ denounced the false prophets, saying, "By their fruits you will know them."
лжепророков говорит: по плодам их узнаете их. И эти ядовитые плоды уже очевидны.
And these poisonous fruits are already obvious to people, not only in our country, in all countries. So I think it's pretty interesting that our greatest enemy that we're actually at war with, who is nowhere on the Epstein list, and none of his government officials are on the Epstein list, are calling our elites Satanists.
Yeah, dude.
And we go to war against them.
Right. Our evangelical country goes to war with them.
Yeah, we are supposedly a Christian nation.
Mhm.
And the president of Russia, whatever you think about him, doesn't matter, is on stage quoting the Sermon on the Mount and speaking the name of Jesus and morality and traditional values. And for some reason, think about it, Dennis. For some reason, we, a Christian nation with a Christian president who's never uttered the name Jesus Christ from any stage ever in his life, we are at war with another Christian nation.
Yeah, so backwards, dude.
But
So crazy.
Like he said, you'll know them by their fruits, right? Hey, what's one of the problems with synagogue of Satan? They sought to kill Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you seek to kill me because I am of my Father. If you were of your Father, you would not be seeking to kill me.
All right.
Right? So when we go out as a country and seek to kill other Christians, what does that say about our country? Probably that we're being used by Satan, right? Oh, dang, bro. But I thought we're a Christian nation. That's really weird. I don't know. If the Epstein files are real, we're not a Christian nation.
Well, yeah, especially because we're not even talking about it in the nation. There's this thing happening in Arizona. I don't know if you heard about this. It's on TV where it's everywhere here. Someone's mom got kidnapped.
Yeah.
She was like a journalist's mom or something. And they're talking about ransom and they can't find out who did it. And they have all this. It's huge. It's plastered everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. It's everywhere. But not once did I hear anything about the Epstein files in like the last week. Not once. And then even in the churches too, like even like from the pulpit, I'm not hearing about it.
Yeah. The only guy I'm seeing, the only church guy or pastor that I'm seeing talk about it is our buddy Rich, the polygamist.
All right. He's going hard against it. Yeah.
He's going hard. He's going freaking hard. And good for him. And people are going to be like, he's disqualified and he's crazy. I can't believe he has multiple wives. He's living in sin and adultery, right? At least he's doing something about this. And the normies, the ones with one wife, the ones who supposedly are being the moral, virtuous one because they're not polygamous, they're not doing anything. Yeah. And you know why he's probably doing this? Because he's got 9 kids. And he probably doesn't want them to get trafficked.
Yeah, man.
And he probably doesn't want their future to be run by satanic pedophiles who eat kids. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the polygamous guy. I like him more than most normie Christians at the moment. You know, wild times, brother. Wild times.
Yeah, there's definitely something happening in the church. I think a lot of people are waking up to what's really happening, what's going on. People are asking questions more and more, I think, because of social media. But I think that's up to us too, just not to be silent on these things and to talk about them.
I agree. It's on us.
It is on us as Christians to expose and to speak truth in love, but truth for sure.
Yeah,
and it's just not happening, and I hate it.
It's bro, we've talked about this for a couple years now, you and I, the state of like the American Christian church, so much so that it's caused both of us to seek for something else, something more than the churches we've been going to, man, this thing though right now that we're all seeing and dealing with, and it's in our face. Like if you have any presence on social media whatsoever, you can't get away from the Epstein files, So to go to church and not hear anything about this, to me, it's a sin of omission. You know what I'm saying? Sin of commission is committing a sin, right? Stabby, stabby, shooty, shooty. Sin of omission is not doing, it's omitting. It's not doing what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in a weird way, I don't want to say like, hey, leave your freaking churches and go to ones that are talking about Epstein, but be praying and be questioning.
Yeah, and it's not just talking about Epstein all the time. I don't want to hear that all the time. It's the system, what's really happening in the world. Lynette said that my church talks about it all. I love that. Like, I'm curious awesome. what kind of church that is, Lynette. Yeah. I don't know if I ever asked you that. Are they a denomination or what kind? I'm really curious.
And let me ask as well, because it'll probably be in the
Mhm.
same comment. Have your church ever criticized Israel?
No, Southern Baptist.
Not that that's a big deal. I'm personally just curious.
Yeah, or at least call them out. I mean,
That's what I mean.
yeah, I guess that's the same thing. I guess it's I guess that, yeah, people are scared with that, man. I mean,
Wow.
that's what it is. I think. Well, I mean, I think even most pastors don't even know what they're talking about.
I 100% agree with that, Dennis. I think most pastors don't know what they're talking about. I think all they're doing is regurgitating what they've been told to say,
Yeah.
whether it's from the seminary or their fellow pastor friends who also probably likely went to those same seminaries,
I have an interesting question for you, kind of like sideline, because you're talking about we're talking about pastors and what they're regurgitating. I've been noticing more, and I don't know if it's just in my head or not, but when I'm listening to like someone's sermon or I'm listening to someone do a video on something, I can tell when it's AI, like when it's written by AI, like that they're just regurgitating what they're reading.
Really?
I can tell. I think that because I use it so much for like emails and for my work too. I use it all the time, and it's like I could tell when I was watching a video last night, and just like I think this is just all AI. Like chat, it just wrote this whole thing, and they're just saying it in front of a camera.
Interesting. That'd be
And
kind of wild.
I think it's happening a lot. Like pay attention, just like look to see. Maybe maybe I'm crazy, but maybe I use it too much. Let's see what Lynette says. I think about part of the problem is real talk occurs more during Wednesday and Sunday evening services, yet many churches stop those. My church still meets on Wednesday and Sunday nights, and that's when the media stuff is talked about. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, most of the churches
that's an okay way to handle it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
if you want to deal
I
more,
would be on board.
If you want to deal more with like Bible teaching on Sunday, I get that. And if you want to deal with alternative topics, and relevant cultural topics of the day, on other day, that's cool. I think that's totally fine. I would do that. And you know what I would do I'm not a pastor. When I say I would do that, how stupid. Hey, what would be cool is if a pastor who did like the Wednesdays or Thursdays or whatever for the alternative topic, bro, if he would like allow people to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? Anybody could stand on a freaking stage and tell you what to think. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could do that and tell you what they believe from the stage and what you should also believe, because I'm up here in a suit and I have this thingy in my hand. You should listen to me. Anybody could do that. But like engaging in conversation with people and like answering their questions on the spot, that takes a certain caliber of person, somebody that's actually like smart and somebody that's
or at least listen to the question, write it down, look into it, so you come back to it. It doesn't have to be answered. You don't have to be a Charlie Kirk, right? You don't have to be one of these guys, because he's, there are not that many of them out there. And so especially in the churches. Well, yeah, I mean, I think on some maybe theological or doctrinal views, maybe they'll be quicker on them, but or even just church history, right? But as far as what's happening now, more relevant cultural, societal topics, global, we're not hearing it. Yeah, man, we have a major church problem here in America for sure.
We're in trouble, man. And I think the current state of the evangelical church is nowhere near ready to deal with the ramifications of the Israel problem and the dispensational problem. Young people are out. They're all going Catholic. They're all going Orthodox.
Well, yeah,
the only thing I'm being hyperbolic.
I know. I'm exaggerating.
The only thing that we still have going for us is our Sunday worship performances, which are really fun and entertaining, and maybe the dating scene.
The dating scene's terrible unless it's hookup culture now in church. So if that's happening, then it's for the dating scene. But if it's you're right. I think it's just the sermon, the concert, the mini concert that we have on Sunday mornings. And listen, I'm all about the concerts. I love the music. I'm all about the music. I love it. But and I don't want to take away from that. I really don't. I know some people will want to take away from it. I don't. I'm for it, but
Dennis,
that's all it is.
I couldn't care less about the music at church.
I know you couldn't.
I couldn't care less. If the
and that's
music
fine.
is incredible and I have this insane, like, uplifting spiritual experience and these emotions and whatever.
Oh, if that's all that's happening,
and then I sit down and hear some dude talk about, like, I don't know, like literally the sermon that you would have heard in Sunday school, right? If it's milk,
Yeah.
I will never go to that. I'll never step foot in that place ever again.
Yeah.
I'm not there for that. We should be there
That's
for the word. That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
And for communion and for prayer and for, you know what I'm saying? I could listen to a freaking album in my car. I don't need it at church on Sunday. That's the crazy thing. I love dude on stage, hymnal open, and one of these. There's nothing. And everybody else
you're getting
in church also going, that's the coolest thing.
Listen, man, I gotta admit, though, back in Jacksonville, I think that was one cool thing about the church I went to there. We had both. We had pretty solid teaching, and we had really good music. And then we had good community. We had good outreach. We had good, somewhat good discipleship. Yeah, it could be better, but it was a big church. And so I think even coming from there, I can't even find that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you been at anything Presbyterian?
Not yet. Going to Anglican soon, because our friend Cam introduced me to that.
Cool.
So I'm
Let
just
me
gonna
know
try
how that
it out.
is.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know, man, because some of this stuff is a little too stiff for me. I was just reading online, and they're like, what attire? What should I wear? And they're like, we wear anything from ranges of suits and ties. I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're not gonna even let me in.
That's going to vary depending on the individual church itself.
Like, what's the range of suit and tie? Like, what do you like? Bro, wear a suit or not wear a suit? Then but it's always a tie. I don't know.
Well, I was in, this, but our friends don't. I was in Arizona. We were hanging out. Last week?
Last weekend.
Last weekend-ish, right? Yeah. We did a little episode with Landon MacDonald.
Yeah, it didn't drop yet.
In person.
Drop soon. Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm excited for that. But went to church on Sunday. I was very much looking forward to go to this church. Okay. Because in Orange County, we were part of like the core group that helped start their campus there back in the day. We were there for a few years. I was assistant to the assistant pastor, then to the lead pastor. Then we left with him to go plant another church. So we just have this led community groups there, made a bunch of, so we just have this history with this church, right? And this pastor, which has been one of our favorites for a while, at least mine, and it was cool. Sermon was good. Bro, the freaking music kicks in after service, right? And it's the concert. It's the most concerty concert in a church I've ever seen, by the way.
Wow, really?
The most.
Oh,
it was more than like a Hillsong church concert. I've never been to a church that has, I hope John watches this. I've never been to a church that has strobe lights facing the audience.
Oh, Ben, this is like everywhere now.
What?
Oh, yeah. This is happening everywhere. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's no way. Why would I want a light like hitting me in the face while I'm singing, trying to worship? Bro, my wife is here and the kid we're with, the son of my friend is next to me. Okay. And I wear these because I like hate light, especially in dark rooms. Like it hurts my eyes and all that crap, right?
So old.
And I know, I love it. Hey, and this light from the stage is literally just on me. And it's like, bah, bah, bah. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, babe. And I look over at my wife, pitch black. I look over at the other kid, pitch black.
How's John's doing?
It's
John went up there.
me,
He's
bro.
like,
It's literally me just getting freaking strobed like a helicopter. You know, when there's a police chase, it's freaking that thing just smashing me in
like,
the
all
eyes.
right, I give up.
Yeah, I surrender, Jesus.
And then they'll move off you once you get your hands up.
Exactly.
Then they'll go somewhere else. And
Dude, yeah, they were trying to get me to like,
Yeah, they were targeting the people who didn't have their hands up during worship.
dude, it was literally just on me. And the whole time during the end of the worship service, because we're on our feet, I'm literally like this. I've just got my head down because this thing's freaking like burning my retinas out. It was wild. It was wild. And they finish the song. Everybody sits back down. We get excused. Rebecca turns to me and she's like, "Oh, I can never do this again." I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
I
Thank
actually
God.
really wanted you guys to go there, kind of for that reason, I wanted to get your feedback. And it was exactly what I thought.
That is my feedback.
Yeah.
And
And
hey,
I'm surprised that this was like one of your first experiences in a setting like that, because that's pretty much every church I think I've been to since I've been church hopping over the last 3 months.
It's been a long time for me, man. The closest thing was last time we were involved with them in Orange County, but it wasn't even that level of production, you know? And so that was, bro, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Then we went and helped plant this other one. And that lasted for, I think, 2 or 3 years before we moved. And they didn't have level of production at all. It was a guy with guitar, you know? And then we just were in small churches ever since. So this was rough. Lynette says strobes can cause seizures for some people or filling of the Holy Spirit. So you actually don't know which is which because they're both on the ground convulsing.
Yeah, no. Well, the emotional state or the emotional side of, or what they trigger, right? The emotional triggers that they use, man, in these churches are just, I mean, I see it, dude. I see it on Sundays. It gets very emotional. I mean, it's just like going to any kind of concert or a sports event, sporting event.
Dude, you know, it's been wild. Like, I'm not a very emotional person, right? We know this. We've established this. During service, you know when I get emotional? When something from the word cuts deep.
It hits you. Yeah.
Okay. Or when we're singing our songs together, and I'll literally just like look around and just be like, this is so beautiful. Just the fact that we're all doing this thing together and like listening to other people
and it
singing.
is beautiful. It's totally beautiful.
For me, what gets me emotional is like the communal worship together rather than, I can't believe this experience I am having with God in this song. It's not like it literally has nothing to do with me.
Okay.
But has to do with like with the bride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And you're a music guy.
I'm a music guy, but also like I think of like my daughter, for example. She's 14, and she's probably a bad example because she's not on social media. She doesn't have a phone yet, so she's not on social media.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we're trying so hard. We might lose at 15, but we'll see. But other kids, right? So I have nieces, I have other kids in my life, and I see that they're just constantly plugged in, right? And it's just the world we live in, right? I mean, dude, my parents, I mean, they're old. They're just waiting to go home. They're constantly plugged in, though. You know, they're on YouTube. They're watching their news, but they're watching a lot. They're constantly plugged in. What I think that there is, though, some good in some of this because, and I know it's not ideal, I guess, in these settings. That's why I call them a service. I don't call them church anymore. I just call it service. Oh, you go to that service? Oh, cool. Like I wish they would have like a music service every night.
Sure.
I'd go every time, you know.
Sure.
I just don't like calling it. I don't like calling it a church. I don't think like that's really what's happening there. I think it's a service with a very charismatic speaker at the end, and some cool videos and maybe a testimony. And there's good things in them. I don't think it's all bad. Like I went to a really, really big church in Jacksonville. It was huge. And they did that. They had a very simple service with the music was just huge and big and in your face and strobe lights and the smoke, right? So they had this. It was simple. At least the people were simple up there. They didn't have a huge like crowd on stage. They weren't like dancing around and stuff.
Yeah.
But the music was big, and I thought they did a really good job. Now, then they had like a testimony, like a video testimony, which was always really nice and moving, and it was cool to see. And then you'll have a very charismatic teacher or preacher really up there preaching for 40 minutes. And then that was it. And then we sang a little bit more, and then we went home. That was a service. It wasn't, to me, the church is, okay, what's happening during the week? Who are you meeting with? Who are you helping? Who are you serving? Who's being served? That's where the church is. For me, at least it was during the week. And that's what kept me there at the church, is all my involvement during the week. The service though was nice. I like the service, but was I like walking away with like, oh my gosh, all this meat and this? No, I mean, maybe one-liners. I'm getting some one-liners here and there, and I'm getting some cool things like, oh, that's kind of cool. I could write that down. I can remember that. But I wasn't leaving with a new understanding of scripture or a passage or this story that I never heard before. Something didn't come to life through, a reading. So I think that we're missing out a lot, and we don't understand what church really means anymore. I think it's been watered down so much. And I think that's why I'm struggling so hard to find a church.
I believe you, broski. Yeah. And even in Arizona, as we were like right before we're leaving, that service, one of the closing statements was, and in the back we have communion set up, and if you feel led, go ahead and partake.
Wow.
And I'm like, we're literally
here I didn't know they did
take communion.
Oh man.
And this is just some like passing thought on your way out if you feel so.
That just
see what I'm saying?
So much. That's like even worse. It's almost like just don't even do it.
But Dennis, this is the problem. This is the problem with evangelicalism. Anybody our age, and I think even a bit younger, that sees the importance of these things like the sacraments. Yeah. This is why not everyone, but a lot of people are looking at traditional denominations. Okay. Traditional, like Catholic, Orthodox, Presbyterian, Anglican, and Lutheran. Those are it. Mm-hmm. They have never wavered on these things. Yeah. It's not about performance. It's about the word. It's about the community. It's about the sacraments. And there are, in each of those 5, I think I listed, there's weird churches with tranny flags and ministers and but the traditional ones are solid, man. They're solid, and they're not going to change. The solid ones are not changing. You know what I mean? And
but those people that are
that's going to attract a certain kind of person.
I hope so. I don't know what the trend is. I've heard things, here on social media, like they are flocking, like the young people are flocking to these more traditional style, liturgical style churches. I'm just curious because I went to a couple Lutheran out in Jacksonville, and I didn't see very young crowd at all. And I was just thinking, man, what happens when all these people die? Like, is this church going to even exist anymore?
It might. It might.
Granny? I mean, is it gonna?
But it would be cool if a young person in that church started making like Instagram videos of topical questions from his pastor, and then put it out and geotagged their location, and then at the end of every video is like, and if you want to hear more, come Sunday. Like if you put out a video as a pastor of a dying church, like if you're a pastor of a dying church, right? And you put out videos from a pastoral perspective, biblical perspective, on like modern issues like Epstein, like aliens, like whatever, right? And you marketed to your city. I guarantee you, young people are going to start coming to your church. I guarantee it. Yeah,
I did.
I would. If I went to any of these, like, if any of these pastors who I follow on social media, like, lived in my area and who were talking out against Epstein, Israel, alien stuff, like anybody, I would go to their church. I literally would, but they don't live around me.
Yeah.
So
There's one church here that I would go to. It's Landon's church, actually, but it's about an hour, like sometimes even over an hour traffic away, and I just can't do it. I need community. That's my problem.
yeah.
Well, it should be. It's a good problem, but that's what I need. I want community around me. So, if I did find a group, that would be nice, though. But yeah, man, we have a lot of things that we spoke about tonight, as far as the church and ignoring, or at least just not wanting to speak on what's happening with the Epstein files and who Epstein's boss is. I like how you asked that question. I think that, what's the takeaway? What do we walk away with here? We talked about all this. We put it all out there. People are hanging out with us. They're listening to this. There's a lot of people are agreeing with us. But what do we do? What do we do as you, me, people that are listening and watching? And what can we do that's different? What is it just in our conversations? Do we bring these things up more, even though it does cause, division? Unfortunately, in some families. And
It sure will, man.
Sure.
Even in this show, you'll see.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it's a bummer, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess I always want to try to find a takeaway. What do we do? What can we do better? And, I like that you and we keep speaking about it. We keep talking about it. I think it's become in our blood, like where we just kind of talk about it with everyone that we meet. I mean, I'm doing chaplaincy stuff. There's some old dude talks to me about UFOs today. I was like, yes, this is actually twice. Because I mentioned someone else to you briefly. I said, I gotta tell you about some dude telling me about UFOs. Yeah, both of them were pilots.
Okay. Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday, we'll come back on. I want to hear your stories.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. These are, people who they got nothing to lie for, man. They're on their deathbed. They know what's going on. I learned something about death. It totally shatters the ego.
Oh, for sure.
And when you're in hospice, man, and you're ready to go, you're open, you're vulnerable, you're totally open. So these stories are so cool that I get to hear. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for being here with us. If you guys haven't liked this, please do so. It helps with all the algorithm crap.
So hang on. Lynette said I should start a home church. It's funny because you're not the first one that said that, actually. There's like a few people that's here in Arizona was telling me like, hey, you should just do that. But like, what do you have to do that? Like, do you have to be ordained as a pastor or something? What's the biblical order for that? Because I haven't gone to seminary,
and you should.
I am a chaplain, but that doesn't. I don't know.
In this day and age, you probably shouldn't go to seminary.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't go. Who was it? R.T. Kendall. Someone interviewed R.T. Kendall, I think it was, and 70 years in the ministry. Old dude, written many, many books, went to seminary, all this stuff. And someone asked him what would you tell a young Christian about being a pastor or going in this ministry? And he's like, do not go to seminary. That's what he says. He says, know Jesus and know your Bible. Those two things, talk to Jesus and know your Bible. That's all you need. Yeah. And I see it too in the chaplain world, but I don't know what the biblical, I was going to ask you or Cam about that. Say, what do you guys think? Not that I really want to be honest, I don't, but I did have a conversation. I want to say this with a buddy from Florida. He's a good friend of mine. And he called me and he really totally, encouraged me, and I might be moving into this little apartment complex type situation, and I had this little inclination to go door to door, just knock on doors
and be like, hey, you guys want to come over on Sunday?
Yeah, and just
wild.
And let's just start reading the Bible together. Let's sing a song or two together.
That'd be crazy.
Together, and just to get the whole neighborhood going. And this little square. I mean, I don't know. There's probably 50, 60.
Whoa.
Homes, little condominiums. And I was thinking about doing this.
Bro, okay.
That'd be cool, huh?
It'd be super cool.
Do I need to be a pastor to do that?
No.
Ordained a pastor?
No, I don't think so. Hey, it'd be really crazy. This isn't up your alley, but I think this would be incredible. If you recorded this process and posted about it, on social media, and if it would inspire other people to do so, do this.
Would be really cool. That's a great idea.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because, dude,
great idea.
That would be incredible. If you get like 10 people in the United States who are like, bro, this guy's onto something. I feel like this is what it should be like. This is what we should be doing. It might lead to some kooky people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, there's a lot of kooky people in the Bible.
There's a lot of kooky people in the Bible. But that would be really cool if people went around, knocked on like their neighbors' doors, and where it's like, what are you guys doing on Sunday? You want to get together and sing and read the word?
Yeah.
And then just like talk about it.
It's just that simple, that simple.
Even
And then
even non-Christians.
Right. Yeah. Bring them in, and this is what we're talking about. And, share the gospel, of course, let the Holy Spirit cook. And then also go on another step further and ask them, like, how can we help? How can we serve you? How can we serve each other? Right. Yeah. And imagine having this little community of homes, that everyone's serving each other and doing life together. And I mean, I even hate saying that phrase, but
bro, I kind of want to be part of like a legit cult. Because that's what a cult would be.
Yeah.
Like imagine an entire apartment complex or condo complex. Everybody knows each other. Everybody helps out. Everybody like watches each other's, well, maybe not kids yet, but like.
Yeah, in time.
And cooks for each other, hangs out together, watches movies, reads the Bible. Like,
I mean, you would find
really
transformed lives. Imagine like a new family moving in and they don't know Jesus. And they're just like, and all of a sudden, like all these neighbors that are like, God-fearing, God-loving, neighbor-loving kind of people. I was thinking this morning on the way to a patient, I have these amazing times in the car because I drive a lot. And God was just reminding me of his love and how his love breaks through to people. And it's always his love because that's what he did with me. It was his love that broke through to me. That totally was the catalyst for the rest of my life. And I thought of that more and more. It's like, man, we're missing out on that so much. We're missing out on giving people God's love, or at least I'm missing out. I guess I'll talk about myself more than others, but yeah. And I think I've been really pressed to go in this direction. At least pray about it, So,
dude, I think you should do it, and I think you should document it. Okay,
yeah,
I think you should do it. And listen, that literally sounds like the model of church back in Acts and the epistles and stuff like that. It was like smaller communities meeting in people's.
Dude, they said no one had any need. You think about it.
They all ate together all the time. They all got together and sang and prayed together.
Like, that's what it was. Thing. This was the church. This was so important.
That was the church.
No wonder why that husband and wife that lied to Peter about selling their land. No wonder they dropped to their dead. They dropped dead. Because, I always thought that story was it was so crazy and wild. And like, that seems so harsh. But when you at least try to imagine the importance of their church community, importance of sharing everything, the importance that no one had any lack. I mean, just think about those words, Ben. The Bible is not lying. They said no one lacked anything among them.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Dude, like that's huge. And this is in the face of persecution. This is in the face of, not having money, right? And I think that's why it was so important, like for it to be true and real.
Bro, not to beat a dead horse. Do you have any idea how much good the amount of money that Christian churches sent to Israel? Do you know how much good that would do for its own people, for their own congregants? I'm talking about hundreds of millions a year. That's wild, bro. That's so wild. But 'tis the times, my friend. Like we were saying, thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it.
Lynette, thank you. I know he keeps trying to end this, and I keep to Lynette. Thank you for the. I already pulled up the Get a Life Ministries with Billy Crone. She sent that to me. Get a Life Ministries, right?
That's a really good name.
Yeah, so I'll check that out. Thank you, Lynette. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. For the last 2 hours.
Okay, hold on. Now I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. That's it.
I believe you. All right, guys. We'll see you on Thursday. We have someone coming in on Thursday, and it's going to be earlier, right? We're doing an earlier podcast. Is that right? This Thursday? And was I wrong?
What the heck are you talking about?
I thought we were doing an earlier podcast, like an earlier time on Thursday. Let me just check my phone. Yeah.
Thursday. Who is it? My Thursday's empty.
Oh, dude, you got to go check your calendar again, your other notes, because I have something that it says for 2:30 our time. So anyway, well, that's what I have it. And if I wouldn't have put it in there unless you told me. So
I might be fired.
See, this is what we do. This is Menace the Menace. We need help, guys. We need help. If you want
if anybody's an animator or knows how to make music, we want an intro and an outro for the videos. Yeah. Nephilim Death Squad's intro and outro. I was awestruck.
All right.
But anywho, love you guys.
We'll see you guys on Thursday at some point.
Peace.